I'm Warren Spector, head of Vested Interest Productions. In fiscal year 1995, the VIP Group made significant contributions to EA's plan for absolute global domination. Join me, won't you, for a nostalgic look back at our last 12 months. First up, System Shock. System Shock is an immersive science fiction adventure that pits the player against the ruthless computer system showdown. To me, it represents man's eternal struggle to show more profit in this fiscal quarter, but that's just my take on it. Different people come away finding different things. System Shock is a 3D first-person point-of-view game using the most sophisticated physics system ever devised for a computer game. You can jump, duck, float, crawl, look up, look around corners, even watch real-time reverse-angle cameras as you move around. This cyberpunk action thriller from Origin Systems manages to outdo Doom, PC Magazine. There are puzzles. You can graft cybernetics onto yourself. There are about 1 million robots, monsters, and bad guys running around that need killing. But what really gets people jazzed is jacking into cyberspace. Get ready for the ride of your life, PC Gamer. Once inside Showdown, you must evade cyber creatures so you can hack into the system and steal information. Something for the kids, entertaining and educational. You don't play System Shock, you are in System Shock. Generation 4. Next, we jump back in time to the year 1917, where our boys in the air had a lot bigger problems to worry about than just a bunch of flying cats. The First World War was a hellish collision of modern and ancient warfare. Back in those days, a wooden canvas prop plane was as high-tech as it got. No radio, no radar, just you, your enemy, and a couple of machine guns. We thought the early days of air combat presented a novel challenge to the new generation of flight sim fanatics who were weaned on missiles and avionics. So we made Wings of Glory. A brilliant game. Wings of Glory takes you back to the very basics of dogfighting. PC Games, UK. You can fly 5 different types of aircraft, everything from the Sopwith Camel to the German Fokker DR-1. You even fly missions where you shoot down Zeppelins. Who hasn't wanted to do that? Yep, it's better than Red Baron. The flight model in Wings of Glory is one of the best ever produced for a flight simulation. Strategy Plus. The game engine generates realistic trees, cloud cover, buildings, even railroads. And with the instant mission generator, the war to end all wars can virtually go on forever. Best looking, sounding, and playing game on the topic, computer gaming world. But what of the bigger question? How will mankind react to living in a world that has been completely dominated by electronic arts? They'll be too busy playing the games we have coming out in fiscal '96. They won't even notice.
I'm Tony Zervac. The name of my project is Crusader. It's essentially a third-person point-of-view action arcade game. It places you, 100, 200 years in the far future where there's an oppressive Orwellian type of government that's essentially clamped down on the populace and reduced the state of the world to a militaristic state. You are a secret operative that used to work for this consortium, and you've essentially changed allegiances to battle for the rebels. The action in the game is essentially carried out through a series of missions. There's a rebel base that you continually return to throughout the game, at which point you can talk to other rebel soldiers, find out via video clips how the game is progressing, what your status in it is. You can watch news clips to get the government's particular spin on it with all of the appropriate propaganda added. You get your mission briefings there, and then you essentially teleport into the mission, go accomplish your objectives, return back, and find out, your status at that point. Crusader should be releasing August 1995, so look for it soon at a store near you.
Oh, excuse me, I was doing some high-level research for another upcoming project, a superheroic fantasy we like to call CyberMage. CyberMage is a futuristic adventure tale written and designed by award-winning creator David W. Bradley. Its release will be accompanied by a 3-issue comic book miniseries from Adhesive Media, publishers of the popular Eden Matrix. In this game, you'll have to learn to use your newfound dark light powers to battle the Deathbringer Necrom and his evil minions, to save the world from his psychic assault. You'll be equipped for the battle with everything from swords to missiles to energy blasters, from tanks to your own personal air car. And I don't have to remind you, not even Batman had an air car. In all seriousness, CyberMage could beat Batman in a fight. You still want more? How about Ultima IX? The last 2 times, the Guardian and the Avatar fought to a near-dead heat. But this time, the Avatar is going to point and click the Guardian's butt right out of Britannia.
Ultima IX is the 3rd game in the 3rd trilogy of the Ultima series, and will bring to a close all 3 of those eras. In fact, not only, of course, is the end of the 7, 8, and 9 trilogy having to do with the Guardian, but it's also the end of the Age of the Avatar, which goes back to Ultima 4, and of course it also goes back all the way to the first Age of Darkness, where Mundane himself began the series in Ultima 1. Some of the major changes we're doing this time is we're, of course, doing what we call going back to basics, in the sense of Ultimas 4, 5, and 6 from a storyline standpoint, very much virtue-oriented, very Britannian Ultima. And yet we're also changing the game very dramatically. We're, for the first time and since the beginning of the series, we are not a tile graphic game. In fact, we are doing a degenerate form of 3D called orthogonal. While we're generating the technology for Ultima IX, we are also generating a lot of the concept art. So we have been doing sketches of the town, sketches of the people, costuming, monsters, as we kind of build and evolve our visual style for the game. Another first this time around is that this time we're actually designing the story of the game well in advance of its implementation, a highly desirable activity that we've begun this time, and as well as designing it, for the first time we are also playtesting it. We've generated a story document. From that we've generated character sheets, town maps, event lists, and we're actually role-playing it like a paper game, which has turned out to not only be very successful in the sense of it's been good fun, but has also been very telling and allowed us to really fine-tune the storyline much better than we ever have before. Unfortunately, Ultima IX won't be out anytime soon. We're shooting for Christmas of 1996.
You still here? Come on, get out of here. I've got lots of work to do. We've got games to make. Now get out before I shack through your ass.